It's 2023 and the Oppo Reno 8 Pro 5G is still on your list of potential smartphones. But you're wondering whether it still holds up? Then you're at the right place, cause in this video I'll be answering the question, is the Oppo Reno 8 Pro 5G still worth it in 2023? We'll be checking out its design, display, camera and specs to see if you should fork out your hard-earned money for what many would call the almost flagship. Let's get into it. Kicking it off with the design, you have Gorilla Glass 5 on the front, surrounded by an aluminium frame, a power button on the right. At the bottom you have the first of the dual speakers, a USB-C charging port, and a dual SIM card tray as it does not support microSD storage expansion. You have volume rockers on the left, and at the top you have a microphone. The back of the Reno 8 Pro is made out of glass which integrates smoothly into the camera bump, of which it's a triple camera setup which is powered by Oppo's very own neural processor known as the Mari Silicon X. We'll be flexing its muscle later on in the camera test. The camera setup is a 50 megapixel Sony IMX766 sensor with a f1.8 aperture, a 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera with a f2.2 aperture and 112 degree FOV, and finally a 2 megapixel f2.4 aperture macro camera with a 89 degree FOV. It's sporting a 4500 mAh battery which supports up to 80 watts of wired Super VOOC charging, which Oppo says it will charge from 0 to 100 in just 31 minutes. It also supports reverse wired charging. The phone comes in 3 colors. There's glazed black and this model that I have here which is glazed green, and here's a shout out to the House of Dragon variant. In the front you have your second dual speaker in the in-ear system and the 32 megapixel Sony IMX709 sensor with f2.4 aperture and a 90 degree FOV. But the star of the show here is this beautiful 6.7-inch Full HD 10-bit AMOLED display with 120Hz refresh rate, HDR10 Plus certification, 20:9 aspect ratio and 394 pixels per inch. This is backed up by some of the best display settings. You have your usual dark mode toggle. You have a brightness slider with a peak brightness of 950 nits for comfortable outdoor usage. There's a screen color mode, of which I suggest Vivid as it's the best. There's an eye comfort setting for those who struggle with blue light. There's an image sharpener option which I recommend toggling on because it will give you crisp images while you're browsing and on the phone. It also has a video color boost option which will give you great video quality while on YouTube and other social media. You get to choose between a solid 120Hz refresh rate or 60Hz. Wish it had an adaptive refresh rate though, but it's still one of the best screens in the mid-range market. I will say content consumption on this display is amazing. You will not be disappointed. But now that we've checked the display out, I wanna give that Mari Silicon X neural processor a try. So let's jump into the camera. We start off with the More section where you have your Pro camera mode, your macro mode and other fun modes. To kick it off, I want to start with a main camera shot. The amount of light at this location was truly harsh, but as you can see, the final image looks amazing. I love the details on the wooden ball, and the way it muted the light bouncing off the yellow surface just goes to show that a lot of thought went into this neural processor and its color rendering is just great. Next up, we have the ultra wide shot, and I love the details in this picture. The focus is on point and the shadows are well represented. And I also love the fact that the photo image quality doesn't fall off at the edges. Next, we have the portrait shot, and the bokeh effect here is excellent. The subject is clearly detailed, and again it's handling the harsh light very well. And last but not least, here we have 2 macro shots. While I truly believe macro shots are best when capturing nature, these 2 shots are good. There's solid details in the subject, and the focus is just great. Next up is the selfie camera. Starting off with the normal selfie, which can be shot at 3 zoom levels. The first one is the ultra-wide selfie. I love how it captures the environment while keeping the focus on me. As you can see, there are lights everywhere, but I will admit it worked very hard to stay as close as possible to my skin tone, and the colors around me are actually good. The normal focal length selfie improves on the skin tone, coming close to perfect. The details are great, and it's even capturing the background colors amazingly. The 3x zoom selfie is good. It really gets up in your face. But for those who are fans of close-up images, it will do a great job, capturing details and colors accurately. Next up, we have the portrait selfie. Starting with the ultra-wide portrait, what can I say? The subject separation in this picture is immaculate. The bokeh is amazing, and even though my skin is a bit on the lighter side, given the environment, it did a great job here. The normal portrait selfie is just as amazing. The subject separation and bokeh effect are just incredible. The color accuracy is way better. I will go out on the limb here and say that these are probably the best portrait selfies I've shown on the channel. The Mari Silicon X neural processor is supposed to be a video game changer for Oppo. Starting off, we're going to test the ultra sturdy video at 1080p 60fps. This right here is ultra steady video on the Reno 8 Pro 5G. This is at 1080p 60 frames per second, and as I'm jumping, you can see the camera moves with me, but the video stays stable. There's no blurring or jarring motion. Next up, we have the main camera video at 4K 30fps. This right here is video on the Reno 8 Pro 5G, shot at 4K 30fps, which is the maximum that the video can go to. As you can see, you get a very crisp and clear picture. It's one of the best that I've seen thus far. And also, please tell me how the sound quality is of this video in the comment section below. Finally, we take a look at the selfie video, which I must say is quite a bummer as it maxes out at 1080p 30fps, no 60fps and no 4K. This is the selfie video on the Reno 8 Pro 5G. This is at 1080p 60 frames per second. Now as you can see, it's this clear picture. You'll let me know how the audio quality is in the comments below. All in all, the Oppo Reno 8 Pro camera system is great. The neural processor was definitely a great addition, and I just love how it all comes together. Yes, the lack of 4K on the selfie cam is somewhat of a downer, but I must say, this is one of the best camera systems on a mid-range smartphone. Now, we all know that a smartphone is not all cameras. There's a lot more to consider, and the Reno 8 Pro is feature-packed. It's running ColorOS 12.1, which is a rescreen of Android 12. It has the MediaTek Dimensity 8100 Max chip, which provides great power and efficiency. This variant has 8GB of RAM and 256GB of UFS 3.1 storage. Looking at all these specs and how everything comes together, the Oppo Reno 8 Pro gets a solid 7 handy score. There is a lot going for it. It has a great camera system, a very efficient and powerful chip, good battery life with very fast charging, and a gorgeous display. But there are some weird omissions to the phone. It has no IP rating, like none whatsoever. The front camera video resolution maxes out at 1080p 30fps. And at its price point, it's up against some stiff competition like the Vivo X80 and the Xiaomi 12s. I've also seen it being compared to the famous Samsung Galaxy A73 5G. But to get back to the main reason for this video, is the Oppo Reno 8 Pro 5G still worth it in 2023? Yes it is. Regardless of the video quality of the selfie camera and the price, it is still an amazing smartphone with good specs, a solid camera system, good battery life, and an amazing screen. I want to take this moment to send a big shout out to all of you who are watching these videos and supporting the channel. We've just crossed 100 subscribers and we look forward to growing video by video with you. Just know we truly appreciate it. And a shout out to the team at the MTN Store in Clearwater for allowing me to shoot there. Please like, comment and share the video as it helps out the channel. To see why Huawei Mate 50 Pro is a weird king, click on the top video. To see if the A53 is better than the A73, click on the bottom video. Until next time, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, our time is up.